This railroad sign on Washington Avenue was one of the few remaining items to indicate there ever was a Camp Logan in Houston. When America entered the First World War, the camp was built to train National Guard units. This was once the location of quite an active depot where troopers from the north arrived to guard the camp during its construction.
Camp Logan was located west of town at the present site of Memorial Park. Today it is a scenic residential area characterized by spacious, well-kept homes. The residents here probably have little, if any, idea of the intense racial turmoil that brewed on these very grounds 65 years ago.
It's America! It's freedom!
The northern troopers stationed here were predominantly black, and they resented the segregated facilities as well as the prejudices Houston had to offer. Only the smallest flame was necessary to set off a racial explosion in the camp. That flame was lit on the morning of August 23, 1917. According to records at the Department of Defense in Washington, a Houston police officer on duty in 4th Ward broke up a dice game among some Negro boys. The report stated that he followed the boys into a house and then appeared again outside, striking a colored woman. One of the officers of the 24th Infantry intervened and was, in turn, beaten up by the policeman and arrested. The same scene was repeated only hours later when another Negro officer, Corporal Charles Baltimore, asked the arresting police officer the reason for the arrest. A scuffle resulted. The policeman overtook Baltimore, beat him severely, and arrested him. Word got back to the all-black 24th Infantry at Camp Logan that Baltimore had been murdered by a policeman. There was excitement. By 8 o'clock that evening, men in Company I were loading their rifles. Some of the men were quoted as shouting, "Let's go to town and get to work. To hell with going to France. Let's get to work right here." The men left camp. They moved toward town, firing round after round of ammunition all along the way. 100 to 150 soldiers moved 4 blocks east on Washington Street, then 1 mile south to San Felipe Street, then east again on San Felipe to town. They seemed to be intent upon killing every white person they saw. Meanwhile, nearly 600 townspeople banded together. Some broke into hardware stores for arms and ammunition. Many cried out for lynchings. The soldiers back at camp feared that this mob would descend upon them in full force before the night was over. The Houston police force was unprepared to handle either the outbreak or the growing mob of townspeople. It was a bloody, chaotic night for Houston's west side. By the time martial law was declared by the governor of Texas, 15 civilians were dead, including 4 policemen. Another 21 civilians were wounded. Only 2 deaths were reported in the 24th Infantry. In the days that followed, 2 mass courts-martial were held in San Antonio. 18 black soldiers received the death penalty. 6 of them had their sentences commuted to life imprisonment. The rest were hanged.